A gratifying day to everyone. We are the Group 5 and I am Alisa Jane Garias, your reporter for today, just for the introduction of the topic. But before we're going to proceed for our discussion, last meeting we talked about the core concepts and values of every Filipino, which is the report of Miss Botavara and her group. But moving on our topic, it is all about greetings and etiquette that exist in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. We are now on the last topic, which is the greetings and etiquette that exist in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Before I'm going to proceed for our discussion, right here we have the topic objectives, wherein at the end of the lesson, we are able to define greetings and etiquette. Next is understand different greetings and etiquette and the reason behind why we are doing it. Another is give some examples of greetings and etiquettes that belongs to Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And of course, understand why greetings and etiquette is crucial for our country. So what do we mean by greetings? To start with, a greeting is an act of communication which human beings intentionally make their presence known to each other, to show attention to, and to suggest a type of relationship or social status between individuals or groups of people coming into contact with each other. So greetings can take place between individuals or between group of people when they come into contact with each other. So in spite of the fact that greeting traditions are very context and culturally dependent, and that they may shift within a culture according to social rank and the nature of the connection and practices may be found in every known human culture. A greeting can be communicated verbally as well as physically, and in most cases, the two modes of communication are combined. This item does not cover military or ceremonial salutes. However, it does cover rights that do not use gestures, written forms of communication such as letters, emails, and also capable of containing a greeting inside their bodies. Other than that, here are some instances of greetings that most of us typically grew up on, and as well as those that we are frequently hear or see around us. So how one greets is determined by the age and relationship of the people. Another is when greeting strangers, a soft handshake accompanied with a smile is common among men. And among women, a smile and a hand wave is usually a greeting. And for close friends and family, it may accompany a handshake and a pat on the back. And females may hug and kiss to greet each other. So typically, people greet each other by saying, kamusta ka? Or how are you? And if the person you are greeting is older than you but within the same generation, it is expected that you will refer to that person as kuya for males and ate for females. And para doon sa mga mas bata pa sa'yo, you can call them ading. And these terms do not have direct translations in English. So the following are the most common greetings which flourish in the three main islands of our beloved country, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So you can definitely hear this on a daily basis. And since these are very prominent, these greetings play a big role when it comes to camaraderie. Another is etiquette. So the term etiquette refers to a set of socially acceptable behaviors that are expected to be followed by members of a given society, a social class, or group. Etiquette is a code of conduct that outlines these expectations. So people are required to conduct themselves in a certain way while they are in public. And this behavior is referred as etiquette. So despite the fact that etiquette isn't likely to be very significantly from one part of the country to another, many different cultures have developed their own specific standards. So the following are a few examples that can frequently be seen over the course of time and years in the Philippines, as well as those that are ingrained in our culture in general. So the first one is the basic etiquette. So Filipinos tend to dress modestly, especially in the public. Another is it is expected that the elderly and those who are in a higher social status are treated with respect. We can use po and opo. And another is given large family sizes and typically small living quarters, Filipinos are generally not demanding of privacy. So within one family, possessions are typically thought to be communal and shared. Thus, it is expected to be open about one's possessions and space. Many Filipinos also avoid blasphemy and cursing as it may cause themselves to lose face. Another is many Filipinos typically have relaxed approach towards timekeeping and punctuality. So using proper etiquette not only demonstrates others that we have value and respect for them, but it also makes others to feel ease and comfortable. So the discipline of etiquette promotes courtesy, attention, and modesty. One of the many life skills that may be obtained through excellent etiquette is the capacity to deal with the plethora of obstacles that life throws at us. The second one is visiting. So do not refer to the woman of the house as the hostess, as this is an alternative meaning in the Philippines that is very offensive. Next is, it is common practice to remove one's shoes before entering someone's home, and the host may offer you slippers to wear them inside their home. Another is try to accept any refreshments. So to display their hospitality, Filipinos will often use their finest crockery and cutlery when they have a visitor. So it would be a polite comment to acknowledge their efforts. Another is if someone is eating and someone walks past, many Filipinos will offer the person passing by to stop and eat. However, this is not a literal offer, but rather out of respect. So therefore, visiting indicates warming, affection, and sometimes even security. It also promotes cultural awareness and appreciation. So the next one is eating. Eating, nearly all meals are served with rice. If a meal is not served with rice, it is normally not considered a main meal, but rather a snack. So many Filipinos eat with their hands or with a spoon and fork. However, they will often try their best to accommodate for their guests by finding suitable cutlery for their guests. And another is, it is considered rude to lean on one's arm when present at the dinner table. Filipinos may also allow food to go cold before eating as they wish to have all the dish present on the table before serving. So it is also common to leave food at the table just in case someone else arrives or is hungry later. So when we eat together, our so-called animal brains receive the information that we are safe, we are pleased, and we are loved. And as a result, our bodies are inundated with good chemicals and feelings. So sharing a meal fosters and strengthens relationship. So here we are now on the last etiquette, which is the gift giving. So presentations are very, very important for Filipinos. So if Filipinos will take considerable effort to make sure that their gifts are well presented and wrapped. Filipinos also often put a lot of thought into their gifts and will give sentimental and thoughtful and or practical gifts. And lastly, gifts are generally not opened when received. So often one will thank the giver muna and set the gifts aside. So given that we commonly offer gifts to people in order to confirm or develop our relationship with them, it follows that these presents are a reflection of both the person who provides the gift and the person who receives it. So as well as their unique relationship. So through the act of representing a gift, we are able to express our thoughts, feelings, and appreciation for another individual. So guys, please keep in mind that the way in which we greet someone reveals not just who we are as an individuals, but also our manners and etiquette. Actually guys, we still have a lot of things to expound, And this is just an introduction. And greetings and etiquette in the Philippines doesn't just stop here, and it improves and it becomes broader, but I'll stop here. And I think this includes my part for today's discussion, and the remaining subtopics will be further discussed by the next reporter. And I am now giving the floor for Ms. De Malata and Ms. Mahinay.
Tagalog. Tagalog was originally native to the southern part of Luzon prior to spreading as a second language over all the island of the Philippines archipelago. Due to its selection as the basis for Filipino, the national language of the Philippines, in 1937, and to the fact that Tagalog is spoken in the Philippines capital of Manila, the largest city of the country. From 1961 to 1987, Tagalog was also known as Filipino. In 1987, the name was changed to Filipino. Tagalog is one of the major languages of the Republic of the Philippines. It functions as its lingua franca, that means karaniwang wika, and de facto national working language of the country. It is used as the basis for the development of Filipino, the national language of the Philippines, a country with 181 documented languages. It is spoken in central and southern Luzon, in Manila, the capital of the Philippines, and on some of other islands. According to the Philippine census of year 2000, 21.5 million people claim Tagalog as first language. In addition, it is estimated that 50 million Filipinos speak Tagalog as a second language. English is the language of higher education in the lingua franca in the Philippines. Frequently, switch between Tagalog and English for a variety of reasons. Mixed language is called Taglish. Is English spoken in Manila? English is widely spoken in Manila and far beyond. In fact, it's one of the Philippines' two official languages alongside Tagalog, aka Filipino. It's usually the medium of education, business, and government. These days, English is almost everybody's second language, but almost nobody's first. That has made it an ideal lingua franca in areas where very few people speak Tagalog. Even around Metro Manila, where Tagalog is basically universal, you often hear locally used an informal mixture called Taglish. It's not a strictly defined language, but usually involves incorporating English into Tagalog grammar, or perhaps even switching into and out of English all in the same conversation. Here are the few examples of basic language of Tagalog. A common alternative is kumusta, which means how are you? To be a little more formal, you can also use magandang umaga, which means good morning. Magandang hapon means good afternoon. Magandang gabi means good evening. For all of these, remember to put po on the end, as in hello po, or magandang umaga po, to show respect.
Ilocano is a de facto dialect spoken common by Ilocanos or Ilocanos who live around the northern and central Luzon, down to the southern islands of the Philippines, even as far to California and Hawaii Islands due to immigration of Ilocanos in the 90s. Most Filipino in California and Hawaii are Ilocanos, especially in Hawaii that has 85% of population of Filipinos are Ilocanos. The Ilocano dialect is considered among major spoken dialect next to Tagalog, our national language in the Philippines. Ilocano is the third native spoken language next to Tagalog and Cebuano that has 9.31% speaker. Ilocano, like all Filipino language, is an Austronesian language, a very expensive language family believed to originate in Taiwan. The Austronesian language are the language family widely spoken throughout the maritime Southeast Asian, Madagascar, the island of Pacific Ocean, and Taiwan. Ilocano comprised its own branch within the Philippine Cordilleran language subfamily. It is spoken as the first language by 7 million people, especially in northern Luzon, central Luzon, and some part of Soxargen. A lingua franca of the northern region of the Philippines, it is spoken as a secondary language by more than 2 million people who are native speaker of Banag, Ivatan, and other language in the northern Luzon. How Ilocano tell someone hello or ask how they are doing? Kumusta or musta, it's mean hi, hello, or how are you? Kasanungay ti adlaw mo or kumusta ti adlaw mo? It's mean how are your day? Kasanungay tirikman or kumusta tirikman? It's mean how are you feeling? Greetings someone during different time of the day in Ilocano. Naimbag nga adlaw, it's mean good day. It used in a special event or occasion, and also its way of respect the elders. Naimbag abigat, it means good morning. Naimbag amalem, it means good afternoon. Naimbag arabii, it means good night or good evening. How will you greet an event? Merry Christmas, naragsak a Paskwa. Happy New Year, naragay a barutawin. Happy birthday, naimbag a kasangay, or naragsak a pinagkasangay.
Good day, everyone. I'm Maris Pauya. I'm here today to talk to you about the common language as part of Visayas region. I'm going to discuss the different greetings of two islands. So we have here Cebuano and Waray tribe. Let's start with Cebuano. Cebu City is the largest city on the island, the largest in the Visayan Island group. Approximately 18.5 million people speak the Cebuano language and its dialect throughout the Visayas and Mindanao Island groups. Sabi nga nila, Cebu City as a robust industrial sector and a growing tourism industry. So if you plan on visiting the South in the future, it's about time that you pick up some Cebuano words or Bisaya phrases for your trip. Cebuanos make up the second largest ethnic group in the Philippines. They are a Visayan people and their language. Cebuano is the second most commonly spoken language in the country. Like what I said before, Cebuano is spoken throughout the Visayas and Mindanao only. The primary religion of Cebuano people is Catholicism. And by the way, in the central Visayas, they speak Visayan, also known as Cebuano, which is spoken in Siquijor, Negros Oriental, Bohol, and Cebu. Other close variation of this dialect is spoken on some other island areas nearby. In this part, I apply research. And according to Cebuano people, greetings is important for them to exercise tact to preserve the honor or standing of others. When meeting a group of Filipinos, greet the highest ranking or the oldest person first. Address people as formally as possible while building a rapport. It is considered rude to engage in long period of eye contact. This behavior is seen as confrontational and disrespectful. A handshake and a smile are the appropriate gesture when greeting someone. It is acceptable for opposite genders to shake hands. Losing face, or in Filipino, hiya, or mahiyain status, or standing brings on shameful feeling and can hurt relationships. Raising one voice and interrupting are sign of disrespect. Maintaining a non-confrontational tone is important. Pakikisama also is the concept of unity and smooth interpersonal relations. It is especially important when working with a group. So here are the example greetings in Cebuano. So let's start. To greet based on the different times of the day, here are the phrases. Maayong adlaw, to be translated in English, good day. Next, maayong buntag, in English, good morning. Maayong udto, in English, good noon. Maayong hapon, in English, good afternoon. Maayong gabi, in English, good evening. If you want to greet based on the occasion of the year, here are some of the greetings. Malipayong bagong tuig, in English, Happy New Year. Malipayong adlaw na tawhan, Happy Birthday. And lastly, malipayong Pasko or maayong Pasko, in English, Merry Christmas. Let's move on to the next topic. I'd like to talk now the formal and informal greetings for your some information. And because we are a tourism students and discussing greetings, it includes treating people well wherever we go. Practice respect for speech. So now let's start with those. Do get someone attention by motioning downward gently or making the sound of ps or paninita. Do wear nice shoes to show the importance of an occasion to you. Do smile as a greeting to be friendly. Do eat if offered, even if already full as a courtesy. Do wear simple clothes when going out so as not to stand out. Do be modest by avoiding shameful posing. And now let's proceed to don'ts o yung mga hindi dapat gawin. Number 1, don't beckon a resident to you with a forefinger. It is disrespectful. Don't wear sandals to special occasions. Don't embrace others by yelling in confrontations. Don't shame someone by yelling if you are outgoing. Don't use the thumb and forefingers or OK sign in public. It means money. Don't refuse offer of food when an invitation to a meal is extended. Don't raise your voice in public. And lastly, don't brag. Always remember, always remember, good greetings and kindness are always in fashion. That would all for my report. Hope you learned.
Good day. As part of Visayas greetings, Waray. Waray is an Indonesian language and the fifth most spoken native regional language of the Philippines. Native to Eastern Visayas, the culture is basically Visayan. The Waray-Waray are often stereotyped as brave warriors as popularized in the tagline. Basta ang Waray, hindi uurong sa away. Waray never back down from a fight. Farming and fishing are the main livelihood. Waray is an Austronesian language and the fifth most spoken native regional language of the Philippines. Native to Eastern Visayas, Waray is a minority language spoken in the Philippines, mostly in the Eastern Visayas. Some are in Northern Leyte. English and Tagalog are the official languages of the Philippines. At dahil tungkol sa greetings, ang matatalakay, alamin muna natin gaano nga ba kaimportante ang salitang greetings. Greetings are an important part of any language because they allow you to connect and communicate with others. If you're planning a trip to the country or are trying to learn Waray, Philippines, keep reading to discover some of the most important greetings. Let's start with the culture is basically Visayan. The Waray-Waray are often stereotyped as brave warriors, as popularized in the tagline. Basta ang Waray, hindi uurong sa away. Waray never back down from a fight. Farming and fishing are the main livelihood. The Waray people, or the Waray-Waray people, are a subgroup of the larger ethno-linguistic group Bisaya people, who constitute the largest Filipino ethno-linguistic group in the country. Their primary language is the Waray language, also called Linete Samarnon. an Austronesian language native to the islands of Samar, Leyte, and Biliran, which together comprise the eastern Visayas region of the Philippines. Waray people inhabit the most part of Samar, where they are called Samariñons or Samarnons. The northern part of the islands of Leyte, where they are called Leyteños, and the islands of Biliran on Leyte Islands. The Waray people occupy the northern part of the islands, separate from the Cebuano language-speaking Leyteños by a mountain ridge in the middle of the island. Ang kanilang pangunahing wika ay ang wikang Waray, tinatawag ding Linete Samarnon, isang wikang Austronesian na katutubo ng mga isla ng Samar, Leyte at Biliran, na magkakasamang bumubuo sa rehiyon ng Silangang Visayas ng Pilipinas. The Waray originate from the Eastern Visayas region of the Philippines or the modern-day provinces of Leyte, Samar, and Biliran. Waray stereotypes include being musical, happy-go-lucky, laid-back, heavy drinkers, and swift to pick fights. Here are the common language or greetings in the Waray tribe. Maupayng adlaw sa inyong nga tanan. To be translated in English means good day to all of you. Maupay nga kulop means good afternoon. Maupay nga gab-iha kada usa means good evening everyone. Malipayon nga pagsalin urughan imo adlaw nga natawhan. This word much more difficult but it common for them. This means a happy birthday. And the last example as an traditional celebration, the greetings can be used. Maupay nga patron, it means happy fiesta. And that's the end of the part of Visayas greetings.
Good day, I am Claire Justine Ruz, and today I will be going to discuss the cultures that can be found in Mindanao. In the Philippines, the Mandaya indigenous group is known for their gaudy and vibrant culture that has been preserved from successive generations and had withstood the colonizations that the country surpassed. The Mandaya people lived in Mindanao, the second largest islands in the Philippine archipelago, specifically along the mountain ranges of Davao Oriental. The term Mandaya came from the word man, when translated in English means first, and Daya means upstream. When combined together, it means the first upstream people. Mandaya also refers to the indigenous group's language, traditions, customs, and beliefs. Mandaya culture is an indigenous group. When we say indigenous, it means native. And the Mandaya tribe can be found in Mindanao, the second largest island in the Philippines. Their culture has been preserved in many generations. They can be found specifically in the mountains of Davao Oriental. The Mandaya came from the word man, which means first, and Daya means upstream or upland. And when it combined together, it means the first upstream people. Mandaya also have its own language, traditions, customs, and beliefs. One of the interesting aspects that makes the culture of the Mandaya distinct from other indigenous groups in country is their culture of dreaming. The practice of weaving and the knowledge system on traditional medicines or healing in Mandaya culture had been greatly influenced by dreaming. The Mandaya are famous for their traditional textile called dagmay, which they considered sacred. The designs of dagmay are interconnected. Cutting them will destroy the essence of sacredness of the fabric. According to the elders, the dagmay was bestowed to the Mandaya through a dream by Tagamaling, a spirit linked to life and creation. It was believed that a Mandaya maiden dreamt of Tagamaling, who taught her weaving techniques to create the dagmay. From then on, the Mandaya believed that weaving is sacred, and a real Mandaya weaver will have to say a prayer before starting to weave. The Mandaya weavers only weave in tranquil areas in their house. One characteristic that Mandaya have and make their culture unique from others is that they have their culture of dreaming. And because of gymming, they have their own practice in terms of weaving, which means the process of combining wrap and weft component to make a woven structure. And also, they have the knowledge in healing. The Mandaya have their famous traditional textile, which is the dagmay. Dagmay means a hand-woven textile made from abaca. Making it involves a mat dyeing technique wherein tribe members soak their tannin-dyed yarns into iron-rich mud for days. The Mandaya women then weave the fiber into intricate figures and patterns depicting their folklores and beliefs. The Mandaya considered Dagmay as sacred. According to the elders of Mandaya, Dagmay is bestowed, which means a present that Tagamaling gave them. Tagamaling is a spirit that Mandayas believe in because it is linked to life and creation. One Mandaya maiden dreamt of Tagamaling, and according to her dream, the Tagamaling taught her the weaving techniques in order for her to create the Dagmay. But a real Mandaya must always have a prayer first before weaving because they believe that it will help them. And also, Mandaya weavers will only weave in a place where they can have peace, quiet, and also serene. The Mandaya language belongs to the Austronesian Malayo-Polynesian linguistic genealogy, which is still spoken by the pure-blooded Mandaya in Baganga, Boston, Caraga, Katiil, and Manay, Davao Oriental, Compostela, Compostela Valley, and Ningig, Surigao del Sur. Two categories of Mandaya language. Original Mandaya language, spoken by the pure-blooded Mandaya in the mountains. Kamayo or Neo-Mandaya, the lingua franca of Davao Oriental. This is widely spoken by the both pure-blooded and mestizo Mandaya. There are two categories in Mandaya language. First is the original Mandaya language. This language is usually spoken by the pure-blooded Mandayas that can be found in the mountains. Mandaya is an Austronesian language of Mindanao in the Philippines. It may be intelligible with Mansaka. And the second one is the Kamayo or Neo-Mandaya. Kamayo are related linguistically to the Tausug and Butuanon and belong to the Meso and Central Philippine family of languages. These groups are concentrated in the provinces of Agusan del Norte and Surigao del Sur, but the fear of disappearance of the minority language, such as the Kamayo language in Surigao del Sur, can be an interesting inquiry. Modern Kamayo of today is now heavily borrowing words and phrases from Bisaya, Filipino, and English. Here are the examples of their greetings. Madayaw na maga, it means good morning. Madayaw na apon means good afternoon, while madayaw na gabi means good evening. How to say good day in Mandaya? Madayaw na adlaw, while kumusta dakaw means how are you? And the reply to kumusta dakaw is madayaw sa. And Mandaya also have their welcome greetings, and it is the madayaw na pagdatong.
Maranao tribe. The Maranao are a splinter or group of Maguindanao who took up Islam. All families trace their religious origin to Sharif Kabunsuan, who introduced the religion in the area. Sharif Kabunsuan was a short-lived province of the Philippines within the autonomous region and Muslim Mindanao that existed from 2006 to 2008. Communities are clustered around a mosque and a torogan, a royal house belonging to the leading economic household in the area. Mosque means a Muslim place of worship, and torogan means a traditional ancestral house built by Maranao people of Nanao, Mindanao, Philippines for the nobility. Together with the Ilanon and Maguindanao, the Maranao are one of the three indigenous Muslim groups native to the island of Mindanao in the southwestern part of the Philippines. This tribal group share in a generalized Southeast Asian culture but has its own cultural identity. Unique among other Danao languages, Maranao is spoken with a distinct downstep accent as opposed to stress accent. Additionally, Maranao features aspirated hard consonants which also raise the quality of the following vowels. The Maranao pronounce their ethnolinguistic group's name as Mranao and prefer the spelling Meranao or Miranao. Maranao greetings. Assalamu alaikum. In English, may peace be with you. Mapya gagawi. In English, good evening. Mapya kapipita. In English, good morning. Anto na ay masusuwa ka. In English, how are you? Madakila salamat. In English, thank you. Bulos ka. In English, welcome.
Greetings are an element of social interactions done in the presence of other people. It helps in establishing one's presence as it is expressed even before a conversation begins. This makes it a great tool to present oneself and show a willingness to interact with other people. They also show a level of respect and care towards other people we interact with, therefore, encouraging and maintaining social relationships. The action of greeting someone comes from the natural human characteristics of wanting to belong and to be acknowledged. Greeting is also one of the basic functions of communication and triggers positive conversations. It helps us connect to people at a more personal level, just like saying hello. A hello can make friends of two strangers. It can bring a smile to someone who is alone. That's why it is very important whenever we walk into a place, we have to make sure that we have a positive attitude. If we say hi or kamusta to everyone, we have to do this with a very energetic attitude. We have to make sure that we are there for them. We have to say hi, hello, or how are you. This is very important because it can change a person's day because sometimes people are having a bad day. The other important thing to do when you're greeting someone is to really have a strong eye contact. You want to look at them in the eyes and you want to let them know that I am here, I am looking at you, I am shaking your hand, I am interested in what you have to say. That will let the person know that you really are there for them. And sometimes, Filipino get the attention of one another by raising and lowering their eyebrows. When one person places his or her hand on the forehead of another, this is a sign of respect. But as a rule, touching, especially men touching women, is not well regarded by Filipinos. Also, both men and women often greet one another by shaking hands. When a man meets a woman, he usually waits for the woman to offer her hand first. Among women, a smile and a hand wave is the usual greeting. Close friends and family may accompany a handshake with a pat on the back. Females may hug and kiss to greet each other. Greetings are used worldwide, ngunit ang mga uri ng pagbati at mga paggamit ng mga ito ay maaaring ganap na pagkakaiba depende sa kultura ng mga bumabati sa isa't isa. Body language and cultural differences means the word used to greet people are different, and so are the action that accompany the words. Kahit na nasa loob ng isang kultura, ang mga pagbati ay may maraming anyo. Two people may greet each other differently depending on familiarity, whether they are acquaintances or closer friends.
The importance of etiquette has shifted from power and politeness to kindness and making others feel comfortable. True politeness is not thinly veiled rudeness. It's treating others with sincerity regardless of who they are. Etiquette was used as a means of control by those in charge 100 years ago. Now, it's more about respect. The importance of etiquette is more than just knowing how to behave in public spaces. The way we talk, move, and act affects those around us. Etiquette books have some specific rules such as when to send a thank you note and how to properly introduce two strangers. Rules of etiquette are just a starting place to teach us how to treat others nicely. Well, meaning kindness even if it breaks one of the etiquette's rules is not often thought of as a rude. Doing something that is technically politeness but comes from a place of judgment or malice is not truly following the rules of etiquette. From an early age, We are taught about the importance of good behaviors. We're taught to be polite, to be considerate, to eat properly, walk correctly, talk in a certain way. All of this adds up to the complex rules of good etiquette. When visiting a new country and learning its language, it can be incredibly advantageous to learn what good etiquette means in that country.